Hey, welcome back to 24/7 Moms Live with Trisha and
Steve. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh no, we back to that pleasure. We got rid of it this week and it's back.
It is. It's a pleasure to get up in the morning and to...
It reminds me of Pastor Buntain, who was a pastor that we worked under for about 20 years. And every Sunday he would get up and he would say what?
He would say, did you have a good week
Did you have a good week? So when he retired, they created a video that showed him saying throughout his entire career of 40-something years of pastoring this church of, did you have a good week? Did you have a good week? Did you have a good week? It was great. It was so great because it was so him. We're going to end up having a video that says, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Well, I really think it is because not only do we get to maybe share something that can help moms and dads out there and single moms and just all kinds of people with kids and marriage.
But you get to hang out with me.
I get to hang out with you, but not only that, we get to work on public speaking. We get to talk about the things we like, you know. So
okay.
Anyway.
Okay, so last night we took our kids and we went and saw the movie Unplanned. And I would say that I highly recommend you in the next few days. I'm not sure how many days it's going to be in the movie theaters because it's one of those ones that just comes for a few days. I highly recommend you go see it.
Yeah, it was a very well done book. Done movie from a book, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know it was from a book, actually. I didn't realize there was a book about it. So it's from a book, and it's a true story. And it's not been given permission by Planned Parenthood to put out there. But it's the story of a lady, a mom, a wife, a daughter, a friend who worked for Planned Parenthood. And she gives her whole story, how she was actually the director of a local Planned Parenthood in Texas. So it's a really great perspective to hear. Gives you a little insight into that world.
Yeah.
And so I just really recommend it. We took our 17-year-old and older children. So I don't necessarily recommend you take your elementary age children to it. Because actually it's pretty gut-wrenching at the beginning especially. I wasn't sure I was going to make it through. It was just a little gut-wrenching. So anyways, if you have some time this week, I encourage you, get to Unplanned, take your teenagers. I think it's a great way for them to hear. There are so many voices speaking into our teenagers' heads these days, in the world, the media, teachers, friends, everybody speaking into their lives, and they're gathering that information and they're creating what their view on different things are. And this would be a really helpful thing to help them create their view on abortion.
It's not over the top. It's not extreme.
It's not extreme, but it's a great story. And it just gets right to the core of what it is. So anyways, I really encourage you, go see it. Grab your tickets and go see it. We went early and picked up our tickets and it was worth it. It was worth our time. Our kids how to talk to adults again and ordering their food and all those things are just great lessons that we continue to try to instill in our kids by taking them out to eat and doing those kinds of things. So anyways, it was great. Today, we thought we would talk about the 7... What did you title it?
I talked about the ingredients to making a marriage thrive.
Okay, ingredients to making a marriage thrive. So we came up with our list of what we feel like has worked for us. Again, we don't have a perfect marriage. Do we fight? No, we argue. Do we fail at things? Yep, we do. But we also have a lot of successes. And we've been married 32 years.
32 years.
This is our 33rd year right now, right?
Yeah. And we have strong arguments. I mean, we do.
I'm generally right.
She generally thinks she's right. And generally she is. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Well, it's also just how we're made up and how what our own value systems are. And so for me, I'm always trying to prove my point of why I'm about justice. I'm about fairness. So I'm always trying to point those out.
She's about dog justice.
Oh, stop. It's not that I'm really an animal lover. I just think you should be nice to the dog.
I just wanted the dog to go out and roam free in the backyard for 15 minutes, and that's a problem.
Okay, so why is it a problem? Why is it a problem for me?
Okay.
Tell them the truth.
Okay, so
tell the truth.
We're going to find out if this is really your problem.
Okay.
Because in her mind, well, the dog's going to scratch the door wanting to get in. So I've already got that solved. So tomorrow we'll let the dog go out and roam free for 30 minutes, and I'm going to block the door so he can't scratch it.
That doesn't bother me then. I just don't like to hear.
Good.
We have a glass door, and I can't stand hearing the dog going on the door. and nobody's letting the dog back in.
Well, we kind of have this ongoing family argument, like who's the boss of the house? Is it the dog or is it the adults?
Steve thinks it's an argument. None of the rest of us think it's an argument. Only Steve. So he must be having a fight. He has just a complex issue.
I guess I have a fight with the dog.
Because nobody
we
else
love that the dog's a grandma dog now, but she's very particular.
She's 11 and she's been a
She's got to be older than 11.
We can talk about dogs, about who chose the dog and what dogs
we
you
need
chose.
to move on.
Yeah, we don't want. Okay, so anyway, so the ingredients that we want to talk about. The first one is listen, which is what we're doing right now. We're listening to each other.
And we're listening to you. I mean, this is important for us.
Right.
But a great marriage, the point of listen to your spouse is to make sure you're hearing what they're saying. You could say you're listening, but are you hearing what they're saying? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what this point is that you need to learn to be attentive to the signals that your spouse would give you, and try not to play games about it. I mean, guys are a little more bad about this than women because girls are naturally more sensitive. Guys aren't as much. Right. But you need to listen. You need to hear what's going on in your relationship.
And it's so true because when our brains, the other day this was explained to me. I wish I could explain it to you as well as this person did. Our brains take in the information we want it to take in.
Right.
Or we allow it to take in, I should say. And so we block out certain things. So when we're talking to each other, sometimes we're only hearing the things we want to hear. And I distinctly remember learning this lesson, and now it really clued in when it was Gary Benton, who is a family counselor. So he's a specialist, right? He's been educated in it. He stays up on it. He's been doing it for years. Explained it. And when he explained it to me, the light bulb went on in my head about a situation I had a couple of years ago with a person who most conversations we had, anytime they were hard conversations, I walked away realizing they didn't hear me. They heard what they wanted to hear out of the conversation. And this made perfect sense to me that they didn't have the ability to hear what I was trying to say because they were still information more than one task at a time. And I would have them repeat it back to me. Oh, what did I ask you to do? Okay, great. Get right on it. Now what time did mom say she wants that done by today? Because often I will give my kids tasks, but I always give them I want it done by 3 o'clock or I want it done by noon. Not like jump up and do it right now. You're my slaves, So having them repeat it back, so we teach our kids to repeat it back to us as well to hear. So I think it's really important as husband and wife to learn that skill, that if you are having a struggle in communication, say to the other person, what I'm hearing you say is.
Right.
So I hope that makes sense. You got anything more to say on listeners? Should we move on to the next one?
Let's move on to the next one.
The next one is talk. Take the time to talk to each other. If you ever go to a restaurant and you look around and you look at what other couples are doing, not talking to each other. And that's something fortunately we were married before cell phones, right? So that was already something we did still in our marriage, is spending time talking. So we will sit in the morning in our family room and chit chat. We will sit at the dinner table and talk. We will go out on dates and talk. We take the time to talk, especially in the car. That's like one of our best.
Okay, but we kind of have talking rules. So let's not act like we're this altruistic, pure family that don't look at our phone. We do.
Right, but not when we're having scheduled time to talk.
No. And so she said it correctly there. Scheduled time. So for us, like at the dinner table, when we're in family, the rule is this cell phone stay away. Right. And we really work hard at that. And I'm probably the one that breaks the law the most. But I always make
None of us bring our phones to the phone.
Right. I make sure and put it down. Because there are all times when we're just together, we're just being together, enjoying each other's company, and we're on our phone. But we have very scheduled times when we do that.
But we don't go out to dinner and get on our phones.
No.
Right. We don't sit at the dinner table on our phones. But now we will, in the morning, he will be on his phone, and I will have to ask him to please put his phone down while he's talking to me, because I will go on and on in a conversation, and he won't. So that's what I mean by you have to have the scheduled times, and you have to let each other know, hey, this is a talking time right now.
Right.
This is about, let's converse, let's have a conversation. But it's important to talk, because if you stop talking and stop sharing just the day-to-day life, just the funny things, the silly things, things that don't really matter, but just that conversation, one day you're not going to be talking anymore. You're going to be walking through the halls in your house as if you're in a hotel and you don't even know that person. So we lay in bed at night and talk, I mean, we just find those times to talk and tell each other stories. We always say to each other, what happened at work today? What happened with your day today? How are the kids doing? You know, we ask questions to get each other talking as well.
Right. Well, and for us talking, you know, because we've been married so long, talking for us is almost like making our team plans, you know,
Right.
and doing. I got number 2.5.
Okay.
Make sure that when your son has a late start for school, that he's not on gaming because all of our bandwidth's being sucked dry.
He's not. I know what he's doing. He's doing his homework.
Oh yeah.
I
Then
just
why
checked
am
on it.
why am I locking up right now?
Well, I don't know, honey. You might want to talk to somebody else, but I'm just telling you.
Okay, go ahead.
I know that I just checked on him. He's doing homework.
Okay, I'll let
That's
you
why
know. You keep talking.
That's
I'll
why
be
he
right
got
back.
up early today, was to do homework. But maybe he's done with his homework. I don't know. But the next one is make time, and I can talk about that while Steve's gone. And life gets really busy. We have 5 kids, and our life could be absolutely berserko, crazy busy between the kids' activities and schedules and school, on top of just the regular things like taking a kid to get a haircut, taking the kid to a dentist appointment, getting braces, all the different lessons your kids are in. And then there's now our kids live abroad, so then there's travel schedules when we want to go visit them, or our own personal travel schedule with things that we're involved with can get really crazy. And so make time. So we have had to be very intentional over the years. Literally, I would sit down with our calendar when our kids especially were little and it was just crazy. I would literally mark out days that we were going to have a date night. I would put every Thursday night was our date night for years and years and years. We don't necessarily have a scheduled date night right now because we do go out on date night every week. So we don't, like last week it was Saturday when we went to see a play. So we have a little more freedom now that we don't need babysitters, right? And we don't need to rely on our older children to watch the little kids. And so we're able to be more flexible in that. But there isn't a week that goes by that Steve and I don't get out and go on a date. So we make the time for that. You've got to make the time for the things that are important to you in your life. So be intentional about, and again, my biggest encouragement is to take your calendar and mark it out on your calendar, mark it on your husband's calendar, and schedule ahead if you need a babysitter or what is that what you're going to do. So finding that date, having date nights, getting away. Steve and I get away together alone with our kids overnight. Sometimes we go up to our cabin. We are fortunate to have a cabin. We'll go up there for just a night. I won't tell you what our kids say to us when we're leaving. They say really interesting things now that they're adults and have learned all about the birds
Well,
and the
they
bees.
found us that one time running around naked out in the grass, and they didn't realize it's kind of a marriage ritual that we're
That's
doing.
not true. Why do you say things my gosh. Why do you say things that put
No,
things in
you just made it sound so weird. Like, we say weird things to our kids, and they...
No, I didn't say weird things. I said our kids have learned about the birds and the bees, so now they say weird things to us as we're leaving.
Right, so you might as well give them something good to talk about, you know?
Well, we don't run around naked. Anyways, back to reality. It's important to get away and have that time alone because one day our children are going to be gone and it's just going to be the two of us again. And we need to keep that relationship going. Okay, number 4, be honest.
Yes, and this is
Yes.
something that we really work hard at. And this is something I have to work hard at because...
Because you lie?
no, because sometimes the honest answer will not be something you'd like to listen to.
I said,
You'd
right.
like
So
to hear.
you like to, what do you like, go around it? What do you call
I like
that?
to beat around the bush.
Beat
a
around
little
the
bit.
bush, that's the
yeah,
word.
right. I don't want to
Uh-huh.
lie, but I don't necessarily want to tell the truth. And sometimes I'll just tell her, I don't want to tell you.
And he's talking about things that are not morally
Not
wrong.
moral issues.
There are things like that he wants to go golfing, or maybe that he went golfing while I was away, and he didn't really want me to know that he went golfing, but he knows I should know, but it isn't really that important. And he'll
No,
beat
but
around
I was
the bush.
supposed to like organize a corner of my closet, but the sun came out, and in Washington, that's a rare commodity. So, and I had a friend call me say, let's play 9 holes of golf. So,
Right. But we have the conversation that if, in order to trust somebody, I have to know that they're being honest with me all the time. When you have had dishonest people in your life, then you are always looking for dishonesty in other people. Like you have this trust factor. And I'm telling you that this generation that has just been raised, that are now adults, they grew up in a dishonest world. They grew up with, everything from 9/11 to, a lot of the presidential stuff. I mean, you can just start naming it, the stock market.
Right.
I don't even know all the things that went on, but if you talk to my kids, they will tell you that trust factor is completely different for them than us. And because of what they saw going around the world in them. And so it's important to be honest and not not make somebody have the ability to have these thoughts that there's something not truthful going on in the marriage.
I agree.
And so I would never say that Steve's beating around the bush makes me think that there's something else bigger that he's not honest with, because the big rocks he's always very forthcoming with. But it's those little things that he knows I'm not going to be happy about. Like, did you organize your closet while I was gone? Yeah, well, hey, how was your weekend?
And she's on. We should stop right there.
Okay.
Because we got 4 more really good
so
ones.
We can share them another time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to stop right there with that one.
Because I got a lot of work to do.
So what the word today is listen, talk. So listen to one another. Make sure you're talking to each other. That you're having that engaging conversation.
Yeah.
Make time for each other. Mark it out on your calendar. Find that time to have it just be the two of you. And you know what? If you can't afford a babysitter, exchange with a friend. Or wait till the kids go to bed. Make time to be with each other. And then the last one was be honest. Always be open and transparent with each other. Be honest. Don't hide things from one another.
And now we've broke these down into the most simplest words we can think of. I mean, they almost sound too simple. But there's a lot of power in what we're saying here, is that you have to really take that time to listen and to show that you're listening to that person. Because a lot of times people will say they're listening, but they're not really listening. You can tell they're closed off. So eye-to-eye contact, those kinds of things. So these are just really important tools that we have found in our life. And talk truth. Just make those moments, make the time, figure out what it takes in your schedule to do that. And then be honest to the point of trying to improve your marriage, right? Not honest to the point to ruin your marriage. Meaning, like, sometimes we can be honest and say cruel things.
True.
The honesty part is to continue to improve and grow your marriage to healing.
Right.
So you need to couch honesty with grace. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are our 4 of our ways that we really want to inspire you, and also that we want to continue to do in our marriage to have thriving marriages. So thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again tomorrow morning.
Take care.
Bye.